Hey everyone, welcome to the home version of TACoS Tuesday with Vince. That is me, Vince Montero, and this is my first TACoS Tuesday that I'm actually doing from home. I finally got a green screen, so I'm not risking myself going into the office anymore as I was previously doing. So hopefully you guys will see more videos of me in this format. We've also got a bunch of pro trainings upcoming that I'm going to be doing, so I'll be doing those from the safety of home as well. But welcome everybody. Let us know where you guys are signing in from today. I always like to hear, where you guys are logging into today. I know we're exclusively on Facebook. We're working on getting back on YouTube and LinkedIn, but if you guys could just check in and let me know where you guys are at. And then we're going to go into some questions. So how this works, if you're brand new, basically TACoS Tuesday is anything related to PPC. TACoS is our total ACoS metric that we like to talk about and recommend and promote here at Helium 10. It's a metric that we actually do have in our ads platform or PPC management platform. And it stands for, again, total ACoS, which is your total sales divided by, your PPC sales, or PPC spend divided by your total sales, versus your ACoS, which is simply your ACoS, so your PPC spend divided by your PPC sales, and that is your ACoS. So in adding the total sales metric into the mix, it gives a much broader picture of how your campaigns are doing. I say this all the time, your PPC campaigns are your advertising. It's your branding for your product. Especially if you're brand new, that advertising is very important. So we know that advertising, when you're watching a commercial, when you hear a radio commercial, we know that helps ingrain a product in your mind. You eventually go buy it. Same thing with Amazon. We do know that PPC helps with your organic sales. It helps brand your product name into a shopper. The more they see it somewhere in the consideration life cycle, they might see it again and again, and they're going to buy the product maybe down the line. In talking about the consideration life cycle, since this is kind of an advanced, a little bit more advanced session that we've done, I do want to talk about the consideration life cycle of the shopper. So I see a couple of people have checked in where they're at, but let us know where you guys are viewing today. We'd love to see where you guys are checking in from. So let's see, consideration life cycle. So if you guys don't know this, the pixel for a sponsored product ad, which is the standard product ad that you get when you're doing advertising on Amazon, is 7 days, right? Canada's in the house. Hello, how are you doing? So if you're brand new and you're just advertising on Amazon for the first time, you probably have access to sponsored products. Scotland's in the house as well. Hello, Clive. How are you doing? Good to see you. Oh, what time is it over there? Is it late? You're like 8 hours ahead, right? 10 hours. Same with Manchester. Hi, Nabil. How you doing? Good to see you guys from Europe. It's funny that Europe's checking in first, huh? Come on, US people. I know you're out there. There you go. New Jersey. Thanks, Tiffany. I see a couple of questions coming in already, but let me just finish what I'm saying right now, and then we'll hop over to those. As well as we do have questions that are sent ahead of time. If you guys are not aware, we have an email, ppcama@helium10.com. And you use that email to just send questions ahead of time or topics that you would like to see me review. And we look at that every single week, or when those come in. There it is on the screen right there, ppcama@helium10.com. Again, this is not an email that you're going to get a response from. There's not going to be someone replying if you have a question about product research. This isn't a product research email, it's PPC. So it has to be PPC specific, and it has to be something that you just want answered in this show or a topic that you want covered in this show. But make sure if I don't answer your questions in this session, you pop over and put them in there, and then hopefully I can get to them perhaps next week. Quebec's in the house, Canada, Pakistan. I always see somebody from Pakistan, so thank you so much for joining us today from all around the world. And on my coast, Mary, nice to see you. I'm in Orange County, California. So we're on the same time zone here. But real quickly, I think this is an important thing for you guys to understand, is the reasoning why Amazon has a 7-day pixel for the sponsored products and a 14-day pixel for their sponsored brands and their sponsored display. You guys may not know that they have those that long of a pixel. George is in the house. Hey, Ellie, how you doing? But it's important to know that Amazon's doing this for a reason, right? They know that shoppers take time to make a decision. So your sponsored products, somebody can click on one of those ads, which is the standard ad that you're doing in if you're running PPC. It shows up in the search results in one of the the tiles, the 4 across. If somebody clicks on your ad there, they can click on it on Monday, and they can purchase it the following Sunday, so literally 7 days later, and your click on Monday will get attributed to that sale, right? So the shopper saw it on Monday, they purchased it on the following Sunday, and the sale goes to that Monday click. So the reason why that happens is because, again, Amazon knows that shoppers take time to make up their mind. Now, our branding campaign types, which is our sponsored brands, and our sponsored display campaigns. These are only ad types that you can get if you're brand registered. But if you are brand registered, you should definitely be taking advantage of sponsored brands and sponsored display. If you're not brand registered, get brand registered so you can take advantage. 2 episodes ago, I went through all the different campaign types. So if you're kind of like curious what I'm talking about, like where are the different campaigns on Amazon, look at 2 episodes ago and you will see me cover all of those. Again, since this is a more advanced session, hoping you guys understand what I'm saying, but this is important for sponsored brands and sponsored display. Those are 14-day pixels. So somebody can click on your sponsored brand ad, which is the ad that appears right under the search bar. Typically, it always has to have at minimum 3 products in it. That's a branding ad unit. So if a shopper clicks on that and goes to your listing on a Monday, they can come back to the 2 Sundays later and make the purchase, and then that sale gets attributed to that click on that Monday 2 weeks prior, right? So that just tells you that Amazon knows that shoppers don't make decisions quickly. I should say this, it's a range, right? So there's people like me who already know what they want and they go in and they buy it. A lot of Amazon shoppers are like that. But obviously there's shoppers that are maybe taking a month to make a decision or longer to make a decision, because the average that Amazon has figured out is between 7 and 14 days. And that's why those pixels are 7 and 14. So it's important for you guys to understand this concept, because PPC is really one of the only ways to make sure that you're always visible to that shopper in between, from day 1 of the click to 7 days to 14 days. Right. So if a shopper's coming and doing research on Amazon, they're doing what's called discovery on Amazon, which a lot more shoppers are doing now. Shoppers used to go to Google and do their shopping research and then maybe make a decision, maybe buy directly on the website of the product, or maybe go over to Amazon and check out the price on Amazon. That's how it used to be. It still is a little bit. Some people still shop that way, but more people are just skipping Google completely, just going to Amazon and doing their product research and their discovery there. So that's why it's important for you guys to understand PPC is really the only way to make sure you're always being seen by that shopper as they're doing their discovery. Okay. So because you can control your bids on your keywords and things like that, you can really, make sure that you're always being shown top of page. So organic fluctuates, it goes up and down. PPC is a little bit more specific, because again, if you're watching it, or if you're using a tool like ours for PPC management, we're watching the keywords for you. We're optimizing bids to make sure that you're being visible, you're being seen by that shopper, right? So I want to go into the meat of this. I want to go into some key concepts. One being search, find, buy, which is kind of outside PPC, but it's a question I get a lot. So I want to cover search, find, buy, and then a few other things. But before that, we have some questions again that were submitted previously. I want to answer those. And then I know I saw at least one question that was posted in here, so I want to get to that. And then we will go into some of the content. Hey, Scott, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Scott's always here. Appreciate your support. So let's look at question. I think there's just 3 that we have from previous, from Instagram. Brahm asks, do you recommend negative matching or no? So I do recommend making negative keywords that are not obviously performing for you, or search terms, I should say, that are not performing for you. Making negative is on a search term level. So what he's asking for about really is if you are moving a keyword from an auto campaign, if there's a search term in the auto campaign that's doing really, really well, you want to target it directly as a manual keyword. Would I suggest making that search term a negative in the auto campaign? It really depends on volume. If you're running a lot, really high volume, if this search term potentially is going to be spending a lot of budget, then yes, I would recommend making that a negative in the auto, so that it's just in the manual campaign, whether it be a phrase or exact. However, if you're not, and especially if you're just starting out, I would say don't negative match it yet. If it's in the auto campaign, it's working in the auto campaign as a search term that Amazon's connecting to your product, leave it in there, but also still make it a manual keyword in your research campaign, or what we call a proven campaign. So that is, again, the deciding factor on whether or not to negative match that keyword that you've isolated is volume. So hopefully that answers that question. So number 2 question from Instagram is Fabian says, what's better, set a low daily budget or set a higher daily budget with a monthly cap? The latter. It's always better to have too much budget than not to have enough budget. If you set a low daily budget, you're going to potentially go out of money, maybe early in the morning, well before potentially the busy times of the day when people are actually, up and awake. So it's always better to have enough budget to make sure you're on at least 24 hours a day. When you're first launching campaigns, Amazon recommends a day campaign to make sure you're on. But if you've got really high volume keywords in there, maybe you got to put more. So it really depends on what you're doing. If you're just launching, especially, it's very important for you guys to have the data that you need to make optimization decisions. Well, you can't make optimization decisions on data that's half missing. If your campaign's being shut off at 6 o'clock in the morning every other day, you're not really looking at all the data. You're not really looking at the big picture. So if you do have budget constraints, though, definitely just put a monthly budget cap on those campaigns. And the way you can do that is by using the portfolio feature. So if you guys are not aware, this is definitely another advanced tip. Put your campaigns in portfolios. I'll pop into Amazon. I'm going to pop into an Amazon account later. If you guys want to see where portfolios are, if you're not familiar with portfolios, let me know in the comments and I can cover that. But portfolios are where you can actually place caps. You can say this group of 4 campaigns that I have on bed sheets. This is the product. This is the only campaigns I have running for bed sheets. Put them in a portfolio called bed sheets, and then say every month I only want to spend $1,000, right? So that instead of capping it on a daily, you're capping a group of campaigns on a monthly. So that answers hopefully that question. Definitely the latter. And the main point I want to make is don't run out of budget, especially if you're brand new, especially if you're just launching your campaigns. Make sure you have enough budget in your campaigns. All right, question 3, I believe also from Instagram. Yes. Do I start PPC on the launch date or after I get 2 reviews? So this is a pretty common question. There's a lot of people that say one thing or the other. You'll hear people say, don't waste your money on PPC until you get a couple of reviews, because you're probably not going to get that sale because a competitor does have that sale and does have some reviews. So there is some logic to that. And the method that I'm going to share with you guys, search, find, buy method, actually does address that to some degree. But I'm of the mindset that if you're looking at your PPC for what it is, again, your PPC is just your marketing budget. You shouldn't be looking at your PPC like you're trying to make money off of it. That's not what it is. It's your commercial, right? You're just branding your product. So my answer to this question is always, yeah, start PPC right away, because the sooner you launch a campaign, number one, Amazon loves history. So the older your campaign is, the better it's going to do, number one. And number two, you're just branding your product. And even if you don't get the sale at that moment in time from that shopper, you're still, they've looked at they've seen your impression, they maybe even clicked on your listing. You're now branded in the mind of that user, right? So what if they did buy another product, and what if they were unhappy with that other product, like in a month? They come back, they might see your product again. Maybe it has a couple of reviews at that point, and they might buy yours, but they wouldn't have remembered your product had they not seen it the first time. So that's kind of the mentality I always try to impart, especially with questions like these. It's not about trying to make sales off of the PPC. It's about marketing and branding at the beginning. And then definitely, if you start spending a lot, definitely start whittling it down so it becomes profitable as well. But for brand new campaigns, it's all about marketing your product and branding your product in the mind of the user. All right, so that answers those three questions. Hopefully these guys were on or listening, or will watch this later, and then they can get their answers. So we do have a question I did see earlier from Zaid. So let me answer that. Hey Vince, would you recommend getting in brand registry from the beginning? I think I already answered this, huh? And do sponsor brands ads from the beginning, or do I wait and do it later? Also, what you think about using a ranking services company for search, find, buy? That's great, because I was actually just going to cover that as our next topic. So if you have the ability to get brand registered right away, and if you have more than 3 products, or if you have a minimum of 3 products, then definitely do it. So that's my first answer to you, is make sure you have 3 products, because you can't do sponsored brands unless you have 3 products anyways. And then I would also honestly say the same thing for sponsored display as well. Sponsored display is another type of campaign that is very visible on product listings. It's if you go shopping on Amazon, you will see an ad right below the buy box, and you'll see an ad right below bullets. Those are sponsored display product targeting campaigns. Again, something you can only do if you're brand registered. So definitely it's a reason to do it. So I would definitely say if you've got at least 3 products, then definitely make sure you get that taken care of so that you can use those campaigns. But there's also other things that you can do at brand registry that besides just the campaigns. You also get access to different analytics. You get the brand registry reporting. It's beyond just search term reports. So you get access to that tool, and that can show you things like what happened last year for this keyword or this types of product. So it gives you very, very in-depth information, plus everything that comes out else that comes with brand registry, like some of the protections it offers and things like that. So I definitely recommend brand registry for the campaign types that you do get, but there's also a lot more reasons that you should get the brand registry. So because his question ends with, do I recommend services or ranking companies for search, find, buy? Let's go ahead and share that screen that I have over here. So this is basically, I pulled this from an episode of Project X. If you guys aren't watching if you're not listening to our podcasts, which you should be, but if you're not, you can also find them in you can always find them in our blogs. So if you go to log into Helium 10, hit the blog post here, you're going to see all different kinds of content, some of which I've written as well. But I wanted to showcase this one because Bradley and Tim Jordan really worked really well on the project. I think this is last year. And they really created some profitable products using this during this Project X. But I wanted to point out that one of the things that they did utilize, I think I have it highlighted, is the search, find, buy method. And so what that means is simply that they utilized the services of RankBell, which is run by Isabella Hamilton. She's somebody I definitely recommend. She runs a quality service and a great company. But essentially what they did was, and you can read it yourselves here, to bolster our ranking effects and accelerate our results. For this case study, we did use RankBell. It's done for you service. And essentially the service provides buyers who purchase your products with the promise of a full rebate. So effectively, what RankBell does, it reaches out to its core user base and it says, hey, this particular product, you can get a full refund for this product. You just have to use a specific keyword. And that is how you get ranking for that keyword. So in this case, because Bradley was selling his little coffin shelves, like one of the keyword examples is goth decor. Now, goth decor didn't have a lot of searches per month. He says a little over 1,600, which is a decent amount. And as soon as he was able to have 11 of his coffin shelves purchased with that goth decor as the search term or the keyword used, then he was ranked for that keyword organically. But he does say, and this is the part that I wanted to highlight, is as a happy but completely unintended consequence of our promotion and PPC strategy, we managed also to reach page 1 position for the larger term Gothic decor as well. So it helped with organic as well as PPC, right? So PPC is all about obviously getting the best position for a particular keyword. Well, ranking for keywords obviously helps you get those top positions for keywords. So you want to rank obviously organically for certain keywords, which search, find, buy actually does help you do. But you also if you're spending money on keywords using PPC, you also want to make sure you rank high for those as well. One way to do that is to be ranking for that keyword organically. And if you're bidding on that same type of keyword, chances are you're going to get a much higher position, much higher search result for that keyword because you are ranked for it. So if that makes sense, hopefully that answers your question that you provided. It's something, if you can't afford it, it's not always a cheap service. If you can't afford it, and if you're just launching a product, it doesn't hurt to use a service like this for search, find, buy to help bump up your rankings for particular keywords. So that is it for the questions. The thing that I was going to go into next was simply some things within Amazon Seller Central. So as I do that, you guys, if you have questions on anything that I'm looking at, actually, I do see one question here from Mohit. Why don't we go ahead and pop that one on the board? I was getting 2 or 3 orders per day on my manual campaign of that particular product, but suddenly I don't know why they stopped giving a result. Should I increase the bids? So the answer is yes. It's the only thing you can do. So there's all kinds of reasons potentially why that might have happened. So check your listing. Maybe did you go out of stock? There's a lot of different variables that could go into play into why you were having 2 or 3 orders per day, and then all of a sudden it stopped. So without knowing all the variables, there's no way for me to really know. But increasing the bids is definitely one thing that you can do, because that at least solves the potential. What potentially might have happened is that you just got outbid, right? So if you're just getting outbid for certain keywords and you're no longer being displayed for those keywords and you're no longer getting the sales from those keywords, then obviously that's the reason why. So if you want to test to see if that was the reason why, then obviously just increasing the bids is one way to do it. So while I'm here, I did see somebody comment one thing. As you can see in this particular campaign, or sorry, this account, they are definitely taking advantage of portfolios, right? So they're, all their video campaigns are in one folder. These are different product types. Each product type has its own folder. They've got one for sponsored brand ads, which is the headline search ads. So you can see this is one way of organizing your campaigns. The total, there's 56 campaigns running in this particular campaign right now. So to organize that a little bit better, utilize these portfolios. It's definitely something that I recommend. As you can see, when you do that, then you're able to set budgets, right? So I believe one of these does have a budget. Right. Okay. So this set of 5 campaigns was spending pretty high. And so we decided, or I recommended, that they actually take advantage of the budget settings, and so that they knew that this group of 5 campaigns wouldn't blow through his full monthly budget well before the month was over. So his budget, I believe, was around $6,000 a month across all the campaigns. These campaigns were spending the most, so this is the one that got added, the budget added to it. So that's definitely one high-level way of making sure you don't, your budget doesn't, spend out of control. So there's a couple other things that I just want to highlight before we kind of maybe jump into maybe what I would do to optimize this account. One is just making sure that you guys are aware of the different the different targeting types that are available to you guys for things like auto campaigns. So let's see. I'm going to look for auto. Okay, they do have a few auto campaigns running. So I'm going to look actually for something that has the most history. So let's see, we're doing this in real time. Obviously, it looks like it's that top one right there. All right, so not sure how long this has been running, but it's quite some time because we're looking at lifetime value. So when you click on a campaign and you click into the ad group, you're going to get an option in the left-hand side here. If you're using ads, you have the same option, but the menu items are on top. And this is what I'm interested in looking at and making sure that you guys are. Oh, see, so this is kind of cool. This campaign is so old that it doesn't have these metrics. So it's really only newer campaigns that have this availability for this targeting. And the only way I can get at what I was looking for to show you guys is actually to run a report for it. So you don't have to run a report if the campaign is newer. So let's maybe look at the second one there. So if you do see that when you go to that particular section, it just means the campaign was too old. But the second one that's here, let's see, clicking on, let's see, this one's got the most. I'll just click on either one. So clicking in the ad group, clicking on targeting, cool. And then you get these options here. So a strategy that if you guys want to save budget, this is one thing that I do recommend on auto campaigns. As you can see here, there's 4 different match types that you get with auto campaigns. These are things that you can only really look at in when you're creating the campaign. You can actually set some of these things, but if you don't know they're there, then it's definitely something that you're going to want to check out. If you just take a look at it, automatic targeting groups, each one of these is a method that Amazon uses to target shoppers automatically to your products. So close match, and if you hover over each one, it lets you know. We'll show your ad to shoppers who use search terms closely related to your products. Substitutes is we'll show your ad to shoppers who view your detail pages of products similar to yours, right? So these are the 2 most powerful ones. Obviously, you want Amazon to show your product ad to shoppers who are using search terms that are closely related to your product. So those are essentially what the shopper's typing into the search bar. You want your ad to appear in the search results page, and that's what the close match does. Now, substitutes will show your ad to shoppers who view the product pages or pages of products similar to yours. So this is the ad type that is on a product listing. So when you're on Amazon and you're looking at a product, you've already selected it, you're looking at a product, there's a bunch of ads on that product listing. So this is saying, hey, Amazon, I want to be shown on the actual detail pages, not just the search results, the detail pages of products that are similar to yours. So those are 2 that you definitely want to at least test at the very least. You can test all 4 of these if you want. But personally, I have found, it could vary by product type, but I have found loose match and complements to not be very well performing, which is why they're turned off. So this particular campaign was used. They used my suggestion on just not using loose match or complements. Loose match simply means that we'll show your ad to shoppers who search loosely related to your product. So loosely means that, I don't know, to Amazon it could be something like maybe a different color variation. It could be that you're selling bed sheets and they're going to show you on like bedroom accessories. So loose match, sometimes it could work. I often find it doesn't. And again, this is related to the search results, right? So people, shoppers using search terms. Complements, same thing. It's about the product listings. It's about appearing on a product listing itself. We'll show your ad to shoppers who view detail pages of products that complement your product. So maybe you sell bed sheets and they're going to show you on a mattresses product listing, but it's not as narrow a field as using the substitutes and the close match. So if you're running auto campaigns, and especially if you've got some history, you'll often find if these were on, you're going to find that there's a match type that doesn't perform as well as others. So you just turn those off, or you lower the bids for that particular match type for the auto campaign, and that will help you reduce waste on those auto campaigns. So want to make sure that makes sense to everyone. I'm just looking at the comments here. Let's see. Why should I try to change it? Clive wants me to sell him on ads. I'm not going to do that, Clive. If you're going to spend money on another company to do PPC instead of just using Diamond, and I mean, it's just included. If you like wasting money, Clive, it's fine. That's my answer. You're paying for a PPC company that's fine, but our tool is just in the Diamond. It's just in there. So you're just paying $197 and you get access to PPC, and it does all kinds of things. So if you have seen my previous episodes, I've gone through different reviews of ads. So it pretty much does everything automatically that I'm showing you in here as well. But yeah, good luck with that. And if you don't like it, definitely come back. You should know. Just do it, Clive. Jake's been an ads user from day one, actually from before day one. Jake has been involved in our beta testing of ads. So and he's still using it, and he's still around, and he likes it. So that's definitely a solid recommendation from Jake. I will tell you guys, you'll be probably the first to hear this, is that we will have an announcement in about a month, I will say. And the ads PPC management tool is going to get upgraded. It's going to be a different experience, different features. So when that happens, I will hop back into our tool and be doing a lot more demos and things like that. So you're welcome to wait till then, maybe, Clive, to check that out. So let's see. I think we saw another question here from Helium 10 members Facebook group. Okay, let's see. Thanks for that, Jake, by the way. I appreciate that. Does ads bid adjustments for all campaign types? What about keyword suggestions? All right, it looks like, Clive, we are going to do a real quick ads demo, I guess. So that's fine. We can pop back and forth. I put all the screens up. So yes, to answer your question, we do give suggestions on everything. So if you are a brand new user to the tool and you already have campaigns running, we're going to give you keyword bids on every single keyword that you have. We're going to look on 78 keyword bids here. So every single day, you can see these suggestions were generated on the 23rd, which is today at 2:28 in the morning. Every day we're looking at the data across all the different campaigns, and we're providing suggestions on the keyword bids. All you have to do is set a target. You can see targets here are ranging from 30 to 25%. And then our tool will try to get that particular keyword based on the data that it's collected, the data it's reviewing. It'll give you a suggestion to increase or decrease, and it'll give you a reason why. So all campaign types, yes. So we've got sponsored products, keywords, sponsored products, products. So again, sponsored products are the campaign types that if you guys are brand new, this is what you guys have access to. You have access to sponsored products keywords, which is what we're looking at here. We're looking at keywords that are in sponsored product campaigns, but we've also got sponsored products product. So these are sponsored product campaigns that have ASINs as targets or category ASINs as targets, right? So you can do both without being brand registered. I highly suggest, if you're not taking advantage of sponsored products, product targeting campaigns, you definitely should be. They are super powerful. So definitely something I highly recommend. If you guys don't know what that is, put something in the comments. Maybe I'll go over that when I pop back into Seller Central. So yeah, to continue to answer your question, Macat, you can see then we've got sponsored brands here. So if you've got sponsored brand campaigns with keywords, we're going to give you suggestions. Sponsored brands product. There's no data here, but you can also run product targeting campaigns for sponsored brands. Most people don't know that too. If you are brand registered, definitely take advantage of sponsored brands product targeting. And then sponsored display product targeting is also listed here. And again, we only have sponsored display one. There's only one listed here because the sponsored display campaign is something that you could either do remarketing, so you can do audience targeting outside of Amazon. So shoppers that have seen your product but maybe didn't buy, then they go read the news or something. They go to a different website and they see your ad again in a display ad. They click on that and they go back to your product. Sponsored display does do that as well, but since all of that is outside of Amazon, it's not really something that you can really track. There's no keywords or anything like that. It's outside websites. So the only thing that we can give you bid suggestions on for sponsored display, again, is the product targeting version. And again, these are sponsored display product targeting are the ad units that you see when you're on a listing. And go to a listing right now if you want. You're on a listing and you see an ad right below the buy box, and you'll see an ad right below the bullets. That's sponsored display product targeting. So these are the ASINs that this user has targeted. These are some. This is the same user from the Seller Central that I was showing you. It's the exercise, so you can see categories that are related to exercise. He's taking advantage of the refinement feature, which is another kind of high level feature of sponsored display. I can mention it really quick. If you guys don't know what that is, let me know. But you can see here, exercise gloves. So what he's saying is, I don't want to be seen on another product page, a competitor product page that also sells exercise gloves, but I don't want to be seen on their page if their glove is cheaper than $17, because obviously his glove is probably $18. So he knows that if his product ad is shown on a product listing that is cheaper than his, it's probably not as effective. Additionally, he wants only to be seen on product pages that are 3 stars and below. So his product is probably 4 stars, right? So his product is 4 stars and it's probably selling for $18. So he's saying, don't show me on any kind of product listing for exercise gloves that are less than $17 and have more than 3 stars, because he knows those two things combined, if his ad shows up on a product listing and he's the same price or cheaper and he has a higher star rating, that a shopper might click on his ad and then go make the purchase, right? So that was a very long answer to your question, Macat. But yes, we do give bid adjustments. And if you guys want to automate all this, so what we're doing here is looking at the suggestions, right? And we're saying, hey, we're gonna apply it. Maybe we're gonna ignore it. We're gonna reset it. There's all different kind of things you can do. If you're using ads, go watch the pro training for that. However, and I didn't even mention this, new keywords and negative keywords. So Clive, if you're watching, we also go through all of your search terms for different campaigns, and we find search terms that are performing well, right? And then we'll recommend they be moved or added to another campaign in a flow. So most of these are going to be maybe auto campaigns, or I see a lot of sponsored brand campaigns, but these are search terms that we've found that are good. As you can see over here, they made 2 sales. less than 30%. So this user has said, hey, if a search term's made over 2 sales and it's under my 30% ACoS goal, that is a search term that I want to target as a keyword. So these are search terms that are going to become keywords in the corresponding campaigns that we do show here as well. We do the same thing for negative keywords. There's some. So we also look for search terms that are not doing very well in your account, in your campaigns. And you can see some of the reasons here. This search term spent over 7 and 0 sales, over 7 and 0 sales and 7 clicks. So there's different parameters you can set, but we definitely give those recommendations across the board. And if you don't want to have to look at these pages and apply these suggestions, which I do definitely suggest you do at the beginning anyways, to make sure that the suggestions that you're seeing are what you want. Because again, this is just a tool. It's only going to do what you tell it to do. So if you tell it to do the wrong thing, it's going to do the wrong thing. So you have to make sure the suggestions that you're getting are actually getting you to your goal. Then once you have that, you're feeling a little bit confident, you can actually go into the campaigns and turn on automation. So I'll just show you guys really quick. So here's automate. If I want to automate the new keyword rules, if I want to automate the negative keyword rules, I can do that right here. If I want to automate the bid suggestions that I just showed you on the suggestions page, that's with this toggle here. This is just for the bid suggestions. So it's all broken up. You can do it by campaign here. And so, yes, that is, again, a very long answer to your question. And by the way, everything that I just said and everything I just shared with you, you can't do any of that in Amazon, right? This is just, it's the power of using a tool versus just doing things manually in Amazon. But I definitely still want to give you guys some value of how you can do some optimizations, such as this targeting trick or tip for auto campaigns, that you guys can get some benefit if you're not using a tool like ads. So Josh asks a question. Excuse the noob question. Oh, you should have been in 2 weeks ago session. That was the noob session. This is the advanced session, Josh. It's fine. Does ads automate bid amounts? Yeah, I just showed you that. So it's perfect. Or does it simply provide you bid suggestions and you have to approve or deny, i.e. make the changes manually? Cassandra, you're behind. Like, I just answered that question. So Josh, hopefully you were paying attention because I literally just answered that question before even seeing that question, which is kind of cool. John asks, how do you differentiate your strategy for sponsored products versus brands? So if you're running sponsored products, let's pop back over to the main. So sponsored products are important because it's where you're going to be found initially, right? So when you think about sponsored products, it's the first place you're going to be seen, either in the search results, if you're doing keyword bids for sponsored products, or if you're doing the product targeting. So you're actually on the listing itself, right? So obviously very, very important positions to be at. The difference in the strategy is more probably in the sense of when you're running sponsored brands, or if you're running sponsored display as well, which you can also do if you're brand registered. You're getting visibility. You know, I might as well just show you just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Amazon.com. What do we want to search for? Let's just search for, you know what? That's already there. So this is the exercise abs. Abs. Come on. I know I looked for it before. All right. So this is an example of a bad one, right? So the strategy for sponsored brands, this company Rip Toned is running sponsored brands, okay, for this term exercise wraps, but they're supposed to have 3 products. So this means that they probably ran out of stock on a product, one of their products, and so it's not showing here because Amazon's obviously not going to show a product that's just not visible or not available. So this is bad strategy. Always make sure that you are taking advantage of the 3 products here, because now you got this big gap. So it's not as striking as it could be if it was using all three. Another thing too that you need to do for sponsored brand is utilize the imagery. So I think I just saw one the other day. I was looking for a specific type of tea. No, that's another bad one. They ran out of stock. Maybe black tea. Trying to find one with an image for you guys. Oh wow, even Lipton. So you know what? Since Lipton has it, maybe it's interesting. Amazon's always making different adjustments to their imagery. Okay, I know this was one I definitely saw one before. Yeah. So at least I've shown you an example finally of one that has all three, right? So as you can tell, if you're using sponsored brands, just make sure that you have the products available so that you're not, wasting space like we just saw in the previous two examples. So the strategy for sponsored brands is make sure that you're calling as much attention as you possibly can. And then the other major strategy with sponsored brands is make sure you have a good store, right? Because a shopper could click on one of these three, or they could actually click over to your store. So again, this is only available if you're brand registered, but if you're running sponsored brands, you definitely want to take advantage of the store. And on top of that, in the store, you can have different tabs. So they've got a clearance tab. That's awesome. This is where they're going to clear out all their product. But you see they've got different categories for different products. So you can run campaigns like maybe this, will it go back? Maybe this, if I put a different term, all the products could be geared towards that particular tab. And then you send the shopper, when they click here, you send them directly to the leggings tab that you have in your store. So strategy for sponsored brands is a lot more about branding. That's why it's called sponsored brands. It's a branding ad unit. So it's very much focused on how do you best leverage it for brands. You don't do any of this for sponsored products. Obviously, sponsored products are just all of these. Do they appear or do they not appear, right? Important to note, sponsored brands for strategy, make sure you're taking advantage of video. This is really big, guys. If you're brand registered, sponsored brand, this is a sponsored brands ad unit. It's kind of funny. This is a sponsored brands ad unit here at the top, but this is also a sponsored brands ad unit here. It's video. So sponsored brands, it's only one product technically that you need to show, but you can show all of your other products in the course of the video, right? So you definitely want to take advantage, strategy-wise. If you're running sponsored brands, do video. It converts very, very well. CTRs are through the roof for sponsored brand video. So definitely take advantage of that. And again, this is not something that you can do with sponsored products. So that hopefully that answers your question. Since I'm on the page, why don't we show a couple more? Let's see if they're here. So sponsored brands is also available. Let's see if they have it here. These are also sponsored brands, guys. So sponsored brands doesn't have just the position at the top here, okay? Which is the most important. This is the most important position. So definitely you want to take advantage of maximizing that. But they're also here. So if people are not liking anything they see and they happen to get to the bottom of the page, they're also listed here. Sponsored product ads are also listed at the bottom here, right? So these are sponsored product targeting ads. So definitely make sure you're taking advantage for sponsored brands. These ad units here. There's also some on the sides sometimes. Let's see if this page has it, this search result. So sometimes you'll see an ad unit over here. I don't think this one has it. No, it doesn't. But let's click on a product so I can tell you guys a little bit more about sponsored display, just because we're here. Sponsored display, this is also a sponsored display ad unit you can do only if you're doing product targeting, okay? But you need to take advantage of targeting an ASIN and then putting in your information, your image and your logo and things like that. So if you guys remember, I kept saying on every listing, you're going to see an ad, what? Right below the buy box. So this is sponsored display. So these are also very much branding type ad units because you're basically branding yourself on this product listing right below the buy box. Very powerful ad unit. And then again, right below the bullets. Every single listing you go to, you're going to see these two. If you don't, it means that there's probably not, it's a very niche product. Most products are going to have these two positions. So these are sponsored display product targeting campaigns. So make sure you take advantage of that, and then, you know, you're going to be good to go. So I see that there's some work happening outside. So if you guys hear any kind of like construction or something, I apologize. Yeah, that's not going to be cool. Let me actually change my settings. I think I can change my settings so it's picking on microphone. Oh, well, it's fine. Hopefully you guys are hearing me and my microphone is picking me up good enough. So any other questions on what I was just going over there? Yeah, just being thorough. That's great. Joshua's paying attention. That's great. Where can I watch the mock taco? I don't know what you mean by that, mock taco. But you know what? Hold on. Let me actually just tell them 1 second that I'm in this. Hold on. Hey, I'm sorry. You guys are supposed to be here tomorrow, and I'm in a recording right now. Yeah, could you give me like 12 minutes? I'm done at 10. All right, sorry guys. They're doing a little construction. They're actually supposed to be here tomorrow, so they actually should not even be here. So that's kind of annoying. So they're gonna wait for me to tell them when they're good to go. The joys of recording from home, right? Okay, let's see. Well, I want to make sure that the previous question wasn't just a joke. If you actually want to see where the TACoS is, then I can show you that. It is actually, again, that's something that is only available in ads. You can see your total sales in your TACoS right here. This is why we call things Taco Tuesdays, guys, right? And then you can also see it by product. If you click on analytics, click on product level, because again, TACoS is a product level metric. It's not really tied to a campaign. It isn't tied to a campaign. It's just the total sales for a particular product. So we show you at the high level, but we're also able to show it to you at the product level. You can see, depending on the time frame that you put in here, you can see what you spent PPC wise, how much you made PPC wise, but you can also see what you made in total. So, all right. Let's go to the next question. I'm testing different percentage levels at top of the page, and I'm curious what happened to ads automated bids. How do ads react and how fast? Are you recommending fixed bids or down only with automated bidding? So just to make sure, Gentis, you're not asking about ads as in the tool that we're showing right here. You're just saying the campaigns in general. I hope that's what you're asking. This is actually a really good question, because this is one of the advanced kind of things that I wanted to share with you guys over in Seller Central, was taking advantage of the dynamic biddings, right? So hopefully I'll answer this question for you, Jen Tucson, while I'm going through this. What you want to do, especially if you're looking at a longer term view of your campaigns, what you want to make sure that you're doing, you want to take advantage of some of the placement bidding. Let's see, I'm going to sort this by sales to see who's got the most and at a good ACoS. All right, so we've got, I just did lifetime. We've got 32,000 in sales at a 25% ACoS. This is a really good campaign, right? So I want to make sure, since I have the data, now I can tell you what you can do ahead of time, but I'm saying if you have data, it's always good to have data, guys, which is why you want to do PPC and go kind of big with it so you can get all the data. But what I want to check is the placement bidding, right? So for those of you that may not know, there's 3 different types of placement bidding. And there's also dynamic bidding that you can do as well, which I'll go over in a second. But you can see when you click on, hopefully you guys followed what I just did. I clicked on the campaign and then I went to the left-hand side and it says placements. So top of search, product pages, rest of search. All this means is that we're bidding higher to be shown top of search for certain keywords, right? We're gonna increase our bids in total for this in this campaign by a certain percentage to be more likely seen on top of search. Product pages it's conversely. I just showed you guys some of the ad units that you can be seen on product pages. Product pages, again, am I going to increase the percentage of the for the ASINs that I'm bidding or that I'm being presented or being seen on in total for this particular campaign? So this is something that you can actually take advantage of. And so when I'm looking at a larger campaign with good data, I want to say, you know what, this is probably the time where I want to maybe increase some of these things and take advantage of dynamic bidding. So what to answer your question previously, Jensen, what I do recommend is that you do dynamic bids down only to start. So at some point, actually, so if you have a campaign that is making at least 50 sales a week, then I think you should try up and down. So that is that's the marker. If a campaign is making 50 sales, at least 50 sales a week, and it's under your ACoS target, 50 sales a week that are under your ACoS target, maybe try up and down for that campaign. So I already did that, obviously, for this one. And I'll pop over to that section so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But on top of that, so I also want to increase the bids on the one that's doing better. And it looks like top of search has the most sales and it has the highest ACoS, okay? Or sorry, lowest ACoS, high ACoS would be bad. So I'm going to go ahead and increase this because it's doing well. It could potentially do better. So I'm just going to test this out. Now, what you want to do though, when you do this, you want to make sure you're noting somewhere. You can't do this in ads, unfortunately, but you want to note somewhere that you did this, right? On this day for this campaign, I increased this to 30%. You need to track these things. If you're not tracking it, then you're not going to know what happened, or you're not going to pay attention to what happened after the fact. But essentially, I'm telling Amazon, hey, I'm willing to pay more. The keywords in this campaign, I'm willing to pay up to 30% more in the likelihood that they're going to increase your sale. So if you have any questions about any of these, just look at, there's tooltips available. So all it says is bid increase, apply different bids by placement, entering percentage. So I'm increasing 30%. These adjustments will apply on all bids in the campaign. Based on your bidding strategy, your bids can change further. So that leads into this campaign bidding strategy. So typically what you're going to see when you're creating campaigns, as well as if you just go into the campaign settings section here. So this is what I recommend you start with: dynamic bid down only. So what does that mean? We'll lower your bids in real time when your ad may be less likely to convert to a sale. Bid down only is the standard. It's the standard setting. It's the legacy setting. It's what Amazon was running on for years. Up and down only started, I believe, January of last year, maybe January before that. So maybe about 2 years. So it's a newer algorithm. So you definitely want to take advantage of down only at first, especially. And another another thing you want to do when you're creating campaigns, Amazon's been sneaky lately. Sometimes they'll have your default set to dynamic bid up and down. So when you're creating campaigns, make sure you're going into it and making sure you at least start at down only. Again, up and down only is something I suggest only for campaigns making 50 sales a week, and it's below your ACoS target. Now, up and down, it's adding another layer to this down only. So not only will Amazon raise the bids so they might double the bid, maximum of 100%. In real time, when your ad is more likely to convert to a sale, and it'll lower your bids and less likely to convert to a sale. So it's basically down only. On top of that, it's also doing up. It's saying we're going to double your bid. So you do have to be careful, because I have for this one, I have up and down set, right? And I also did the increase in placement. It's not reflected here because I just did it in a different section, but you can also increase your placement bidding here as well. I did it in the other page because you can I wanted to see the results, but you could also, since I already know I changed this to 30. So, and it lets you know dollar bid will be $1.30 for this placement. Dynamic bidding may increase it by up to $2.60. So because I have up and down on, that bid might be $2.60. So this is definitely something I'll want to, make a note of and then track over the next 14 days just to see how it's doing. If the ACoS starts to go out of control, then obviously I'm going to want to scale back that 30%. If it doesn't, if it stays the same or it goes under, then obviously I'm going to want to potentially play with this 30% and maybe increase it, right? So hopefully that explains the differences between all these things. Oh, you did ask about fixed bidding. I only recommend fixed bidding, honestly, if you really know that this particular keyword is going to make you sales. You just have to be careful. Fixed bidding means exactly what it says. It's whatever you put in your bid is exactly what Amazon's going to spend, right? So maybe your branded keywords, if you have a branded keyword campaign, which is another, it's not really a high level tip, but it's definitely something I suggest you guys do. You should all have branded keyword campaigns, because Amazon definitely uses brand names a lot more than it used to. Just a couple of years ago, there was no branded terms in Amazon. Now there's tons, and competitors will use your branded terms. Whatever your product's called, make sure you have a campaign that has those keywords in it, because your competitors are likely doing that. And if you don't do that, then they're going to steal your shopper, steal your customer. So maybe for those campaigns, Gentusen, I might suggest doing fixed bids. Generally speaking, I would only say these two though, because these are potentially going to save you money potentially, because this is going to always bid down, to the lowest one that the users or the next shopper has bid upon, and this is also down. It's also up, but it's also still down. So you're potentially going to save money using these two over using fixed bids. All right. So hopefully that answers your question there. Now that I say that, I just want to make sure that this one does have branded, campaigns. So somebody that I am working with on it. Oh, maybe it doesn't on there it is, on a case study. So this is very important. So they've done their branded keywords and the sponsored brands, right? So if somebody types in, their brand keywords, they should be the ones then that are appearing. Obviously, if somebody is typing in your actual brand, right, then hopefully you're the one appearing at the top. If you're not, that is problematic, right? So let's see if this works. So this is their keyword, right? Bear grips. So if I type in bear grips, what should I see? I should see their ad, sponsor brand ad. And I do, right? So now imagine if I typed in I'm a shopper and I typed in bear grips and one of these competitors came up, Bear Complex, which is a very, very similar sounding name, but this is the product. So you want to make sure that you are appearing here. This is very, very important real estate. And if somebody is typing in your product name, you better make sure you're appearing here. Because if you're not, you're immediately the first thing the shopper sees is somebody else's products, and you don't want that, right? So that's another high level tip for using sponsored brands. So hopefully whoever asked me that question earlier about sponsored brands, definitely make sure you're doing this, making sure you're doing your branded brand protection, or I call it defense. You're just playing defense. You're just, and hopefully this will convert for you, right? I'm pretty sure that campaign actually does pretty well. Lifetime, let's see, ACoS 30%. That's not that bad, right? So, but regardless, even if this was higher at ACoS, it's all about branding. You don't want somebody else appearing here, right? When they're typing in any version of your product name, you don't want somebody else appearing here. Even if you got to pay a little bit more to make sure that they don't that they don't see somebody else here. It's definitely worth it. All right. Let's see. Was there a follow-up question to that? No. Okay. And brands campaigns with their branded keyword. Yes, Gentusen. Yes, definitely branded campaigns with their branded keyword. Yeah, you can do the same thing. This particular user is just doing it for sponsored brands, which I believe is the most important one to do. Definitely make sure you're doing that. You can also do the same thing with sponsored products, so that you are appearing, in the search results as well. I will show you one that I do know. This is a branded product, iWalk 2.0, and I do know that they are appearing number one, right? So not only are they appearing at the top, it looks like they have something out of stock. They're appearing here, but they're also the number one here, and they're also the number one for organic, right? This is the ideal scenario, you guys. When someone types in your product name, you want to be seen first. You want to sponsor brands first for sponsored, first for organic, right? This is the holy grail of brand defense. And then also, yeah, you want to make sure that you're doing this on your sponsored display campaigns as well. And all that means is that when, I don't know if this applies because this particular company only has one product. So when you're here on your product listing, you want to make sure if you have more than one product, you want to make sure you're also here and here as well, right? So if you've got multiple products, target your own listing because someone's going to be here no matter what. Someone's always going to be below the bullet. Someone's always going to be below the buy box. So if you've got multiple products, target your own pages. Target your own pages so that you can show your different. Maybe you have different variations. Maybe you have different colors. Maybe you have different types of tea. Maybe it's a great way to showcase to the shopper who's already, in this case, searched for your product name and landed on your product page. Hey, you've got different products, right? Versus just seeing a competitor's products. So you definitely want to do brand defense as well when it comes to your listings. All right, guys, that is time. It is 11:06. Went a little bit over. So thank you guys for sticking with us today on today's episode of TACoS Tuesday. And we will see you in 2 weeks. I do want to do a real quick poll. I know I was asked and I totally forgot about it. We do have some things that are coming up, again, things that are changing. If there's any of you that are using ads right now and are having success, definitely add a comment right now and we'll reach out to you. We're looking for some little bit success stories. So if you've got one, we definitely would like to hear from you guys. So if you're using ads right now and you're seeing some good success, pop your name in the comments or say, yes, I'd like to be involved. And I'm going to ask this question probably in 2 weeks as well, leading up to the new announcement, the big announcement next month. We'd love to showcase, people that are actually using the tool and share their experience with. Jake says, yes, I have success. Yes, I know, Jake, but we've already used you too many times. But maybe we will again. If you're willing, actually, I'd love to do that. So thanks again, guys, and you're welcome. You're welcome, Richard. You're welcome, Fayez. You're welcome, Gentusen and Vladimir. Thank you, guys, and Clive. Thank you guys for being here. And we will see you again in 2 weeks. And hopefully before then, I will have, because we try to do like a guest speaker every other TACoS Tuesday. So in 2 and 2 we should have here as well, besides just me, to give you guys some additional information on PPC. Take care until I see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.